Now, I know this is old news. The Strickland versus Sneako thing's been out for, a week now? But I do have something to add, so keep watching. True belief is knowing that you can do something, you can achieve something. And this, in my view, is critical of what a fighter is. Here's a good example of two people, two individuals that have a very different self-belief system.
Earl asked me if I would meet up with you, and I said, well, if he wants to meet up, I'd spar him.
Now, I'm not saying that this influencer doesn't believe in himself, but if you watch this, you can see completely different expectations of the reality of the situation.
That is actually the sad thing about boxing.
Wait, so Sean, do I earn the podcast now?
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
All right.
We'll see.
At what point is the reality of your expectations of what your skills are versus where they really are? Do they match? Should Strickland have beaten him up? I know there's a lot of reviews on the internet about this, and people are saying that Strickland shouldn't have gone so hard on him, and a lot of people are calling him out as a mat bully.
I'll leave it up.
Quite frankly, there's something going on here. Strickland doesn't like Sneako. Maybe it's the background of this whole sort of social media agenda that's coming in behind this. Whatever the reason is, it looked like Strickland was making a point. He was punishing him for whatever reason that is. We don't know. We're not in his head. But I'm going to add something to this. I think this is much more of an issue of respect.
They don't give a fuck about lying. They just are here to put in work, bro. So I respect them. Hey, will you hit that clock on start?
Now, I've said this before, people's expectations far outweigh their ability. And the problem within the social media space is that it's overinflated. And I'm not necessarily discussing egos. What I'm saying is that their expectations of their abilities and what they can achieve becomes overinflated. This is a classic example.
So, he's Dana's buddy. Ready? I'm not going to hit him in the body, you know that.
You're not going to hit him in the
body. I'm not hitting the body.
Strickland seems to have an issue with influencers, full stop.
Let's see the influencer.
And I get it.
Let's see the influencer.
He probably thinks that they're weak, tardy snowflakes. Although that's his opinion, but you can imagine how he's going to feel when Sneako asks him to spar. Now, I don't know how this was arranged or how it came about.
Think about if you knocked me out, how cool that would look for your...
I think this is much more of an issue of him feeling disrespected. You let me know in the comments what you think. At the end of the day, you have to love what you do. And it also means you have to love pain. And this is a great example, albeit very one-sided, of what a fighter's mindset is really like. On the one hand, this influencer doesn't have it, although he's got the heart, but he's just missing one small ingredient, and that's that killer instinct. A head day. You know, this is always an issue for me, of expectations. I mean, this is someone that's called out a professional fighter, whether you're an influencer and you've got some experience or not. Clearly, he's a novice. I mean, you can see from his punching, hanging off. I mean, that's pretty basic. But the retraction of the hands says a lot. And you're going up against a former world champion here, who's not just walking you down, but talking to you as well.
You're doing so good.
That's going to get in your head.
There's this moment you're realizing that you cannot hurt me. Good work. No way, don't worry, it's coming. You're a very tough influencer. 3 minutes left.
I mean, we say it all the time. Sometimes when you throw a punch, you've got to make the other fighter respect that punch. In other words, they've got to believe that they can get hurt by it. And if they don't, and they can't, they're not going to respect you. And a guy like Sean Strickland is not going to respect you if you can't punch. That's a given.
In your brain, did you think this is how it was going to go?
Sneako is not doing bad.
It's going to go a little bit better than that. But
Let's go.
Back to expectations again.
Ooh.
He's a
Right go. What time we at?
2 minutes.
I want to enjoy this a little bit longer. Let that right hand go, Sneako.
I mean, there's a question here whether whoa. Strickland's opening up. He's literally pulling those hands back and swinging.
Jesus.
He's in there. He's in there. He's still. Don't turn away. Don't turn away. Don't turn away. He's turned away. Unlucky.
You didn't fall down, Sneako.
No, he didn't fall
You
down.
didn't fall down. That's good graphics and heavy shots, man.
Dude, you picked the wrong person to ask to spar with.
Let's train. Hey, you didn't fall, Sneako. Good job.
All things aside, we can say well done to him. Called out a UFC fighter, didn't go down, weathered the storm. Good for him. But one of the things, but the takeaway for me always has to be a difference of expectations. The problem is with these days is that people have unrealistic expectations of what they can achieve,
No, bro, you did
what they
great. Like
can
you said,
do.
obviously you wasn't going hard in the beginning, but
And
you're
it doesn't
throwing good shots,
necessarily
you're
mean that you
moving.
can't achieve
Like I told you,
something
huge
and you don't have
respect.
the ability to do that. But what it does mean is that you have to set realistic goals of what you can achieve. And in this context,
I think you did great. You fought a fucking world champion.
Sneako got it
Obviously,
wrong. The issue is, how do you react when someone calls you out to spar? Calling someone out to spar is really where you're trying to measure yourself against them. Now, ordinarily, that's fine in certain contexts, but when you've got a high level to a low level, an expert to a novice, that novice shouldn't be trying to measure themselves against an expert. And this is just a classic example of that. You can understand a level of disrespect if you look at it from that context. I think it's a grey area calling people out to spar. Yes, it's important to spar with all levels, but you have to swim within the sea that you're used to swimming in. And jumping the gun, in this case, because you're a social influencer, doesn't necessarily give you any credit. All of these guys at the top level work super hard to get where they are. Just because you're a social influencer doesn't give you the credit to be rubbing shoulders with people at the top. It is a matter of respect. Always be careful who you call out to spar, because sometimes they have to make a point of defending their position. But if you call someone out who's better than you, it could go badly wrong for you. It's just a thought. Should Sneako have actually sparred with him? That's by the by. But of course, you can always say that Strickland didn't have to go so hard on him. Didn't have to embarrass him, and he certainly didn't have to humiliate him. But either way, this fundamentally comes down to an issue of respect. And when we're training, I think we have to respect each other at all levels. And that's just my 2 pence worth. Remember, traditional values go a long way in modern martial arts. Thanks for watching.